Imagine a Monday morning, or maybe it's Tuesday. Honestly, the days sort of blur together, don't they? You wake up, and before your feet even touch the floor, you're already scrolling. The notifications are piling up like snow against a door. Emails, Slack messages, news alerts about a crisis halfway around the world, a reminder for a meeting you definitely didn't prepare for. It feels like you're drowning in data, barely keeping your head above the water, while the current pulls you faster and faster downstream. We live in a culture that wears exhaustion like a badge of honor. In the US, we talk about the grind with this strange reverence. We glorify the 60-hour workweek that somehow bleeds into 80. There is this silent, pervasive belief that if you aren't hustling, you're failing, that if you aren't constantly productive, you don't matter. We feel guilty for resting, anxious when we aren't doing.
Let me ask you something, and really think about this. When was the last time you sat still, truly still, without reaching for your phone, without checking the time, without mentally drafting a to-do list? It's uncomfortable, isn't it? We tell ourselves we have to rush because the world demands it. We say, I'll slow down when this project is done, or I'll relax after the holidays. But the finish line keeps moving. We are convinced that the world itself is spinning out of control, moving at a velocity we can barely comprehend.
But there is a different perspective, one offered by Haemin Sunim, a Zen Buddhist teacher who wrote a quiet little book called The Things You Can See Only When You Slow Down. He poses a confrontation to our modern chaos that is startlingly simple. He suggests that we have it all backward. We look at the blur of the highway, the frenzy of the stock market, the endless scroll of social media, and we scream, the world is moving too fast. But is it? Haemin Sunim asks us to consider a radical possibility. The world has never complained about how busy it is. The mountains aren't rushing. The trees aren't stressed about their quarterly growth targets. So what if the speed isn't out there, in the world, but in here?
That shift in perspective, realizing that the chaos might actually be a projection of our own minds, is the cornerstone of the journey we are taking today. You are listening to The Last Read, Books for Your Ears, Wisdom for Your Life. Before we walk any further into Haemin Sunim's sanctuary, take a brief moment to hit that subscribe button right now. You won't want to miss the wisdom we have lined up that could genuinely alter the trajectory of your year. And of course, if you want to hold these words in your hands, or perhaps gift a moment of peace to a friend, the link to purchase the book is waiting for you in the description.
Today, we aren't just summarizing a book. We are learning the ancient art of the pause. In the segments ahead, we are going to uncover some specific, actionable tools hidden within these pages. We will talk about the space heater secret, a metaphor so vivid and perfect it might just save your most difficult relationships from burning out. We will walk through the 3 liberating insights, a trio of realizations that act as an almost instant cure for social anxiety and that crippling fear of judgment we all carry. These are simple tools, shockingly simple, yet 99% of people ignore them, choosing instead to run faster on the treadmill of modern life, hoping to catch up to happiness.
But before we get to the tools, we have to look at the craftsman. Because when you hear the words Zen Buddhist teacher, you probably have a very specific image in your mind. You might picture an elderly sage high up in a remote Himalayan cave, cut off from Wi-Fi, taxes, and traffic jams. It is easy to preach calmness when you don't have a mortgage or a Twitter account, right? Well, that is exactly where Haemin Sunim surprises us, because his resume looks a lot less like a hermit's and a lot more like an Ivy League professor's.
See, Haemin Sunim didn't just study ancient scriptures in a quiet monastery. He studied at Berkeley, Harvard, and Princeton. That is a resume that would make most corporate CEOs jealous.
And it tells you everything you need to know about why this book is different. He isn't writing from a place of detachment. He is writing from the center of the storm. In South Korea, he earned the nickname the Twitter monk, and sometimes the healing mentor, because he didn't shy away from the digital noise. He embraced it. He built a following of over 1 million people, dispensing wisdom in 140 characters or less, right there in the same feed where people were doom-scrolling and arguing about politics. He understands the specific, vibrating anxiety of an overflowing inbox. He knows the pressure of deadlines, and he lives in the city, not a mountain cave. This is his superpower. He bridges the gap between the silence of the East and the chaos of the West. He takes the lofty, often inaccessible ideas of Zen Buddhism, things that usually feel like they require a shaved head and a vow of silence to understand, and he translates them into the language of modern stress.
He is uniquely qualified to answer the question that haunts every single one of us when we check our phones first thing in the morning. Is the world actually this busy, or is it just my mind? Because often we feel like we are victims of a chaotic world, like we are standing in the middle of a hurricane we didn't create. But Haemin suggests something radical, something that shifts the power back to you. He compares the mind to a projector and the world to the screen. And that analogy changes everything about how you handle a bad day.
So, let's unpack that image, the projector and the screen. It is perhaps the most profound shift in perspective that Haemin Sunim offers in the entire book. He asks a question that, at first, sounds almost like a riddle, or perhaps a challenge to our sanity. He asks, is the world actually busy, or is it just my mind? Now, if you are anything like me, your immediate knee-jerk reaction is to point at your calendar, point at the news headlines, point at your unread emails and say, obviously, it is the world. Look at it. It is on fire. But Haemin gently pushes back. He argues that the world is not inherently happy or sad or stressful or busy. The world just is. The world is neutral. The feelings we assign to it, the chaos, the urgency, the panic, those originate entirely from within us. They are the film in the projector, and the world is just the screen we are projecting onto. To understand this, let's look at a situation every single one of us has endured, the absolute misery of rush hour traffic. Picture yourself stuck on the I-405 in Los Angeles, or the FDR in New York, or really any major highway during the evening commute. It is absolute gridlock, brake lights as far as the eye can see. Nothing is moving.
Now, imagine in this scenario, you are running 20 minutes late for a job interview. How does that traffic feel? It feels malicious. It feels like the universe is personally conspiring to ruin your career. Every minute the car in front of you idles, your blood pressure spikes. You grip the steering wheel until your knuckles turn white. The world feels hostile, chaotic, and unbearably slow. But now, let's rewind the tape. Imagine you are on that exact same highway, in that exact same gridlock. The cars are in the same positions. The delay is exactly the same. But this time, you were not late. In fact, you left an hour early to escape a noisy house because you just wanted some peace and quiet. You have a fresh cup of coffee in the cup holder, the air conditioning is perfect, and you are listening to your absolute favorite episode of this podcast. Suddenly, that traffic looks different. It isn't a prison anymore. It's a sanctuary. It is 30 minutes where no one can ask you for anything. You might even feel grateful for the delay because it lets you finish the episode.
The reality on the screen, the traffic, did not change. The cars didn't move faster. The asphalt didn't change. The only thing that shifted was the state of your mind. The lens of the projector changed from anxiety to leisure, and the entire world transformed to match it. This is the core of Haemin's wisdom here. We exhaust ourselves trying to change the screen. We scream at the traffic. We try to force the world to speed up or slow down to match our internal state.
But we cannot control the chaos of the world. It is simply too vast. What we can control is the lens. When our mind is peaceful, the world is peaceful. And when we slow down, the world miraculously seems to slow down with us. However, mastering your own mind is one thing. Applying this wisdom when other people are involved is an entirely different challenge. Because while you can choose to enjoy the traffic, you cannot always choose how other people behave. And Haemin suggests that navigating the heat of our relationships requires a very specific type of distance, a concept he explains with a brilliant metaphor involving a space heater, which might be the key to surviving your next family holiday.
So, let's talk about that space heater. It is one of the most practical images Haemin offers, specifically because it addresses the most volatile variable in our lives, other people. Haemin writes that human relationships are very much like sitting next to a space heater or a roaring campfire in the dead of winter. It sounds cozy, doesn't it? But there is a physics to it. If you sit too far away, you freeze. The connection grows cold, you feel isolated, and the relationship withers. But, and here is the trap we often fall into, if you get too close, you get burned.
We have all felt this singe. Think about Thanksgiving or Christmas, or really any family reunion. You love these people, but after 3 days of being crammed in the same house, answering the same intrusive questions about your career or your love life, the heat becomes unbearable. Or perhaps it is a partner who needs constant reassurance, texting you every 10 minutes, suffocating the very flame they are trying to tend. Haemin suggests that the secret to a happy, sustainable relationship isn't total enmeshment. It is finding that perfect equilibrium, the precise distance where you feel the warmth, but you are safe from the flame. This challenges our standard Western notion of intimacy. We often think true love means zero distance, that we should be everything to everyone. But Haemin suggests that a little distance is actually respectful. It allows the other person to breathe, to be themselves. This means that setting a boundary, saying no to that extra commitment, or taking an hour for yourself during that chaotic family holiday is not an act of rejection. It is an act of preservation. You are not putting the fire out. You are simply stepping back so you don't catch fire. You are keeping the relationship sustainable. But even when we manage our distances perfectly, things happen. Someone crosses a line, or life throws a curveball, and suddenly, we aren't just dealing with external heat, we are dealing with internal fire. Anger, disappointment, jealousy. When those heavy emotions surge up, the instinct is usually to shut the door on them. But Haemin has a different approach, one that involves treating your heart not like a fortress, but like a guest house. Treat your heart like a guest house. That's a shift, isn't it? Especially for us here in the States. When a negative emotion like anger, jealousy, or disappointment shows up at our door, we usually do one of two things. We either slam the door in its face, fighting it, denying it, or we run out the back door. We distract ourselves. We binge 3 hours of Netflix. We scroll through TikTok until our eyes glaze over. Or we eat that second slice of cake we didn't really want. We treat these emotions like intruders that need to be evicted immediately. But Haemin Sunim suggests the different mental model. If your heart is a guest house, those emotions are just temporary visitors. You don't have to lock the door against them, but, and this is key, you also don't have to offer them a permanent room. Haemin writes, "Do not fight your negative emotions. Observe and befriend them." It sounds counterintuitive. Befriend your anger? But he explains that emotions are like temporary clouds passing through a wide open sky. The sky is your awareness, your true self. The clouds are just the weather. The clouds can be dark, stormy, and heavy, but they can never actually damage the sky. They eventually float by. So how do we actually do this in practice? How do we stop the guest from trashing the house? Haemin offers a very specific technique involving language and observation.
He says we often make the mistake of identifying as the emotion. We say, "I am angry." In doing that, we become the anger. It takes over the whole house. Instead, he advises us to separate the raw energy of the emotion from the linguistic label we slap on it. Try shifting your internal dialogue. Instead of saying, "I am angry," say, "I notice a feeling of anger passing through me."
It's a subtle switch, but it changes everything. Suddenly, you are the observer, not the emotion. You are the host standing in the hallway, watching the guest walk through. You can watch the raw energy of that jealousy or frustration. Notice how it feels in your chest. Notice how it changes texture, and realize that you are the one watching it. You are the sky, not the cloud. Haemin says that if you simply observe the emotion, witness it calmly, its energy changes. It loses its grip. It reveals what it's actually there to teach you, and then it leaves. This ability to sit with discomfort, to observe the storm without getting swept away by it, is crucial. Because as we all know, life rarely follows the script we wrote for it. We love to plan, we love to predict, but the reality of our lives often feels less like a rehearsed symphony and a lot more like jazz.
Think about it. In a classical symphony, every note is written down years in advance. If you play a wrong note, it's a mistake, it's a failure. And that is exactly how so many of us try to live our lives. We write this perfect script in our heads. Graduate by 22, manager by 25, married by 30. We treat our future like a sheet of music that we have to follow perfectly. But as Haemin Sunim points out, the universe doesn't care about your sheet music. Life is improvisation. It's jazz. When you're playing jazz, there are no wrong notes, only unexpected ones. If the piano player changes the rhythm, the drummer adjusts. You have to listen. You have to be present. And you have to flow with what is happening, not what you planned to happen.
The problem is, we get paralyzed by the anxiety that we aren't playing the right song. And this anxiety is usually fueled by one specific thing: comparison. We open Instagram or LinkedIn and we see the highlight reels of everyone else. We see their promotions, their vacations, their seemingly perfect relationships, and suddenly we feel like we're falling behind. We feel like we're losing the race. But Haemin offers a profound reality check here. He writes, "Life isn't a 100-meter race against your friends, but a lifelong marathon against yourself." Let that sink in for a second. It's not a sprint. And more importantly, your friends aren't your opponents. There is no prize for finishing first because there is no finish line, other than death, which isn't exactly a prize we're rushing toward.
When you stop trying to run someone else's race, the anxiety begins to lift. You realize that you don't need to envy someone else's timeline. You just need to focus on your own stride. Haemin suggests that instead of looking sideways at your peers, you should look backward at yourself. Compare yourself only to who you were a year ago. That is the only comparison that actually matters. So, if you're feeling lost because the script you wrote for yourself isn't working out, try to see it as an invitation to improvise. Embrace the uncertainty. Because it's often in those unscripted moments when we stop forcing the music and start listening to the rhythm of our own lives that we finally find our groove. And this brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. Once we stop fighting our emotions, and once we stop racing against others, we unlock a specific kind of wisdom, a wisdom that only appears when the noise stops.
That wisdom is simple, yet it changes everything. It's the realization that the world isn't actually busy. It's our minds that are busy. Throughout this journey with Haemin Sunim, we've circled back to this one central truth, that reality isn't something happening to you, but something happening through you. We learned that the world is like a mirror. If your mind is chaotic, the world looks chaotic. But if you can find a way to rest your mind, even for just a moment, the world settles down with you. We also talked about the delicate art of relationships. Remember the campfire analogy? It's such a powerful image, treating your loved ones like a fire. If you get too close, you get burned. If you stay too far away, you freeze. We learned that true intimacy requires space, a little breathing room that allows the fire to keep burning without suffocating.
And of course, we just discussed the idea of life as jazz, letting go of that rigid script we all try to write for ourselves, and learning to improvise with whatever notes life hands us. All of this brings us back to the title of the book, The Things You Can See Only When You Slow Down. It sounds like a contradiction, doesn't it? In our culture, we're taught that speed is the only way to get ahead, that if you aren't sprinting, you're losing. But Haemin offers a paradox that I think is the most important takeaway of all. By slowing down, you actually achieve more. When you rush, you're often fighting against the current, wasting so much energy on friction, on anxiety, on resistance. You miss the shortcuts because you're too focused on running fast. But when you slow down, you stop fighting. You see the path clearly. You see the people around you clearly. You stop wasting energy on things that don't matter. And that clarity, that is the ultimate efficiency.
So, if this episode helped you find a moment of peace today, or if it gave you a new way to look at your own busy schedule, please consider subscribing to The Last Read. We love taking these deep dives with you. And if you want to truly absorb these lessons, I highly recommend picking up a copy of the book. We've put a link in the description for you to grab one. It's the kind of book you don't just read once. You keep it on your nightstand for those nights when the world feels a little too loud. Thank you for slowing down with us today. May you be happy, may you be peaceful, and may you always be protected from harm. Until next time.